Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aaron with Aaron Fixes Stuff. Today we're going to do a quick little project. We're going to replace a regular outlet with a USB outlet. The reason for that is my beautiful girlfriend constantly plugs in her Apple Watch down here, and when I walk past, I kick it into the wall, and I do that almost every day.
Sorry.
So I decided to replace it. Plus, we never have enough of those the charging boxes, whatever they're called. So I'm just going to replace this one with one of these. So that's going to be today's project. So let's get started. All right. So the supplies you're going to need are the USB outlet, a new faceplate, lineman pliers, wire strippers, and a screwdriver. Recommended supplies are going to be electrical tape, an outlet tester, and some sort of angled pliers. All right, so assuming you have one of these outlet testers, I would highly recommend having one of them. I know that this one is GFCI protected, so what you want to do is you want to shut the power off. So when you start, obviously both lights are on. Because I know that this one's GFCI protected, once I press it, the power to this one is going to get shut down. So I know that this no longer has power. So that would be the first thing. Also, by the way, if you have a dog and a cat, these automatic pet feeders are awesome. Keeps the dog out of the cat food. All right, so we cut the power to this. And we're going to take off the faceplate. All right, and even though I checked that our power is off, still recommend working with gloves for your safety. I'm going to take the old outlet out. And this one might end over here, or it might continue from this to another outlet. If I were guessing based on how the island is, I would say that there's just one set of wires coming into here, and then that this outlet doesn't continue to anything else, but we'll find out in a second. Okay, so as I thought, this outlet doesn't continue to anything else. In this case, they wrapped it in electrical tape. Good job. I always recommend, if you watch any of my other videos, you'll see I always wrap my things in electrical tape. So I'm glad that they did that in this case. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, again, we made sure that our power's off. Pull out the wires. Next, something that I would recommend is when you're installing outlets, don't leave this other screw open. Even if there's nothing attached to it, close it. That way when you're wrapping the tape, there's less chance of something touching. And then finally our ground wire. So usually they're supposed to leave at least 6 inches of slack. Over here they didn't really leave that much, so we don't have a lot of wire to work with, which makes it a little bit more tricky, but we'll still be able to do it. All right, so with these preferred outlets, if you've seen some of my other videos, I pretty much only use the preferred outlets. They have this additional tab in here. You see that right over there? So what you can do is you can stick your wire straight into there underneath that tab and then close the wire, and then close the screw, excuse me. The other option is to just do the loop. If you're gonna do the loop, make sure you're doing it clockwise so that when you tighten, the loop gets tighter, because if you do it that way and you tighten, that loop is gonna kind of come apart. Now, as opposed to a regular outlet where you have the gold terminals on one side of it and the silver terminals on the other side, this one is a little bit different. If you look at it, this side doesn't have anything. They're both on this side. So in this case, our hot is gonna go to here to the gold, and then our neutral is gonna go on this side. Now say you have in your box, you have 2 wires, so you have more, or even 3. So sometimes you'll have this one continuing to a third outlet. So what you would have is you would have another black wire and another white wire, and maybe another ground, maybe not, depending on how they put stuff in the box. What you can do, because you only have one option, is you can either put one of the blacks on the top part and the other black on the bottom part of this, underneath this tab. Or what you can do is you can create a pigtail. So what you'll do is take another small piece of Romex, attach the two blacks to each other along with the third piece, that little extra piece of wire, and then put a wire nut over here and then just connect this one into here. So moving on with the video, we're just going to connect these and we'll be good to go. In our case, because I like using that tab, I'm going to straighten this out. So all of these, and then I'm just going to stick them straight in. The ground we're going to keep as is. So we're going to start with the ground wire. You're doing a great job with the camera. Sorry, it's a little bit harder to do this because we don't have a lot of slack. So we have to do everything closer to the box. Make sure you get it nice and tight. That's what our ground looks like. So once again, it's going clockwise. Next, we're going to do our neutral. We're going to stick it right into there. And tighten. So again, make sure we get it nice and tight. And then finally, we're going to do our hot wire. And we should be good to go. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the panel. I'm going to pick up the breaker for this one and I'm going to test it. All right, so we put the breaker up. Now that we test it, two orange lights means that it's wired correctly, which obviously I assumed. And just so you see what I was talking about before, that's another way to indicate that it's live. All right, last thing we're going to do, wrap it on electrical tape. All right, sorry, the battery on the camera died. So we wrap this in electrical tape. Next we're going to push it in. So tuck the wires in, push this in. What I do is I start with one, then continue with the other. Some people do this with impact drivers or drills. I do it by hand. I just like the feeling of it. I'm sure some people will argue that it's easier to do it another way, and that's fine. Make sure we're straight, we are. Get nice and tight. Test it again, we're good. By the way, a little tip, if when you're pushing it in, if somehow the outlet ends up kind of tilted in one direction or the other, all you have to do is push your tester in and just manipulate it a little bit as needed to get it straight. So just a little tip to help. All right, so we got this. I recommend these shatterproof covers, so they're pretty flexible. That way if you over tighten the screw, it's not going to crack on you. And then finally we're just going to put this on. All right, test it, make sure it works. It does.
Plug in my Apple Watch.
Final thing. It works. There's one. There's the second one. And now I don't need to trip on her
Apple Watch
anymore. So I hope you found this video to be helpful, entertaining, or at least somewhat useful. If you did, consider giving me a thumbs up or subscribing to my channel. Any comments, questions, feedback in the comment section below. I do try to answer everyone. As always, I appreciate your time and have a good day.